How to build a major chord. There is a popular fixed pattern, or what I called the 4-3 formula, that is used as one of the ways to build a major chord. The 4-3 is simply the number of half steps that you will count or move from the root note to the other notes that make up the chord you intend to form. Alright, take for instance, this is our C. So if we want to form or build the C major chord, C is our root note. The root note is simply the starting note. So from the starting note, you will count 4 half steps to get the next note in the chord. So from C, we count 4 half steps. 1, 2, 3, and 4 half steps. And that brings us to E as our second note in the chord. So from E, you will now count 3 half steps to get the other note. So we move 1, 2, 3 half steps. And that brings us to G. So for the C major chord, we have C as the starting note. We have E after counting 4 half steps, and we have G after counting or moving 3 half steps. So for the C major chord, we have C, E, and G. You strike the 3 together, and that gives you the C major chord. Alright, let's take another example. Let's say we want to form the D major chord. D will now be our root note or our starting note. So from D, we will count 4 half steps to get our next note in the chord. So we count 1, 2, 3, 4 half steps. And this brings us to F sharp. So from F sharp, we now count 3 half steps to the next note in the chord. So we move 1, 2, and 3 half steps. And this brings us to A. So for the D major chord, we have D, which is our root note or our starting note. Then we move 4 half steps, and it brings us to F sharp. And from F sharp, we move 3 half steps, and this will bring us to E. And getting the 3 notes together gives us our D major chord. So for the D major chord, we have D, F sharp, and E. So you strike the 3 together, and that gives you the D major chord. If you observe well, you will notice that in forming the major chord, from the starting or root note, we skip 3 notes to the next note in the chord. And from that next note, we're skipping 2 other notes to the last note in the chord. This is what I mean. From C, for instance, which is our root note, when we count 4 half steps, we are simply skipping 3 notes to the next note. So from here to E, after counting 4 half steps, we simply skipped this note, which is 1, this note, which is 2, and this note, which is 3. So we skipped 3 notes to get to E. And from E, we again skipped 2 notes to get to our G. Thus we skipped F and F sharp to get to our G. So to form the major chord of any key, you can start from the root note and then skip 3 notes to get the next note, and then from the next note you skip 2 other notes to get the last note. So it's also a simple trick. From C you skip 3 notes, 1, 2, 3, and it gives you the next note in the chord, and from that note you skip 2 other notes, 1, 2, and it will bring you to the last note. So to form the major chord, from the root note you skip 3 notes and it gives you the next note in the chord, and from that next note you skip 2 other notes and it will take you to the last note in the chord. So when you strike the 3, which is C, D, and G, it now gives you your C major chord. Take for instance the last one. If we want to form the F major chord, our starting note will be F. Can you see it? So using the last explanation, we will skip 3 notes to get our next note in the chord. So we are skipping 1, 2, 3 notes, and it brings us to the next note in the chord. So from, which is A. So from A now we skip 2 other notes to find our last note in the chord. We skip this one, and it brings us to C. So for the F major chord, we have F. After skipping 3 notes, we have A, and after skipping 2 notes, we have C. So for the F major chord, we have F, A, and C. You strike the 3 together. It is still the same thing with the first formula we use. Skipping the 3 notes simply means counting 4 half steps, which is from here. 1, 2, 3, and the fourth one gets you here. Then skipping the 2 notes simply means counting 3 half steps, which is 1, 2, 3, and it brings you here again. I hope this is clearly understood. Alright, thank you so much for watching. See you again next time. Bye for now.